Hello, everyone. This is going to be the review of AEW Dynamite from March 23rd, 2022, with Miggy Reyes and Smokin' Moda.
What up?
So, opener CM Punk versus Dax Harwood. They do some chain wrestling to start off before they trade some moves. Dax ends up taking control and he gets the heat on Punk. They kept showing Gun Club. Not sure why that they were getting focused like throughout the match. I thought it was kind of taken away from the match. Like I didn't really care that Gun Club was out there, but apparently it just set up for like an angle later. Uh, Dax misses a diving headbutt, and then Punk goes on top, and Dax crotches him, and it got very loud boos, which surprised me that this spot specifically got the loud boos. So Dax hits a superplex, and then both men are down. Dax is up, hits a diving headbutt, only gets a two. Harwood and Punk both spill to the outside. Punk hits a diving crossbody for a two count and then does an anaconda vice. Dax teases tapping out, but he ends up escaping. They both trade pins for two very close near falls on each other. Dax springboard power bombs for a 2.9. Punk hits his like sequence of signature moves and then goes for the GTS and that gets countered into a sharpshooter. Punk escapes and counters into the Anaconda device, and Dax taps out. Match was around 12:48. This was a pretty solid wrestling match, in my opinion.
I was really happy with it, especially being the opener, and I think it got added to the card kinda last minute,
Hmm.
but it was, like you said, really solid to the most solid people on the roster. Dax is surprisingly good as a singles guy as well as a tag team guy, so just watching like how much they were able to work off each other and just make it a hard hitting match was just really incredible.
So I think they're still teasing Bret Hart, especially with the sharpshooter. I don't know if Dex has ever done a sharpshooter before. Maybe he has, and I just can't remember. But
Yeah,
like I felt
maybe.
like it was like they're more teasing Bret Hart again. And with the Owen Hart Cup coming, I'm pretty sure Bret Hart's gonna be there for that. Like I like I'm almost confident, like 100% confident that Bret Hart's probably gonna be there for the Owen Hart thing, maybe to like present something or whatever. And I'm pretty sure Dax is just trying to like get into that. They called it a Scorpion Deathlock on commentary. Maybe they did it on purpose because of Sting. It's a sharpshooter.
Yeah.
We're calling that the sharpshooter. I'm pretty sure it was the tease Bret Hart. I don't know, but yeah, it was a pretty great opener.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised, just kind of thinking through what FDR's story is going to be like, because they're not doing like too much pinnacle stuff like with MJF and Spears at the moment, and they're clearly setting up a rivalry with Gun Club, even though it's probably going to be short term. It's kind of weird to see like heel versus heel.
Yeah, I thought it was a little weird. Like I don't know why they're doing that.
Yeah, it'd be kind of
Like,
awkward because FTR have been heels since they joined AEW, and
yeah, they were faces for a bit in the beginning because people wanted to cheer them, and then they slowly turned after like a month or two because
it
they were teaming with the Bucks for a while when they first joined.
it
But like
was
they're heels. They are heels at heart. Like they're meant to be a heel
yeah,
team.
yeah, like at heart we all know and love, well, not love, but we love to hate, and
And I
yeah,
love FTR. They're decent wrestlers.
yeah, they're a solid tag team, very hard hitting, nice change of styles compared to like the many high flying types that AEW already has.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, wherever it's going, I'll be happy to see, especially if they get Bret Hart in AEW.
Okay. All right. So then there's a Chris Jericho promo. So Jericho's now calling himself the influencer. And like throughout the time that they're talking in the back, I was just expecting Kingston and Proud and PNP Santana Ortiz to just jump out and like start brawling with them, but that didn't happen. So I didn't
Yeah.
care about the segment.
Only things I like to say about this is that the way everyone was positioned, you could barely see Jake Hager in the back. Like
Yeah.
his only thing you could see is like his head staring like blank face at the camera the entire time. And when they cut to 2.0 talking, I didn't understand anything they were yelling because everyone was just talking over each other the entire time. And I was like, if this is how all these segments are gonna go, I'm definitely gonna zone out.
Sports entertainment, bro.
It's not
Don't knock it like
entertaining.
that. All right. So we got Sting, Darby Allin, and the Hardy Bros versus Butcher, Blade, and Private Party. This was the eight-man tornado tag. So you knew that there was just going to be stuff happening at every single second of the
Spot fest.
match. Yeah, basically a spot fest. So we start off, Darby launches himself onto the Butcher. Butcher actually catches him this time. And then Sting jumps off the top onto the floor and then wipes everyone else out, which, I mean, for 60, what is he, 62 or something?
63,
Yeah,
maybe?
I mean, him doing that is pretty crazy. Butcher is beating up Darby on the outside, and then Sting and Matt Hardy are beating up Private Party. I didn't see what happened to Jeff Hardy. Um, Sting hits a stinger splash on Isaiah Cassidy, like on the barric or railings on the outside. Darby and Butcher are fighting in the crowd. Andrade just comes out of nowhere, basically, and hits Darby, and then Butcher picks up Darby and then does his like swinging him into the railings, like in the crowd, and then near the steps of like one of the entrances, and then he very softly throws Darby Allin down the steps.
Where he just rolls down.
Yeah, well, throw like very softly, just like does a little toss where like his momentum would probably only take him two steps down, and then Darby's like, "Let me roll the rest of the
Yeah.
way."
He
I mean,
learned from last time not to actually go flying down the stairs.
well, I was expecting him to actually go flying. Like this was like they definitely tamed it down way more this time.
Yeah,
And then hearing commentary have to go crazy on that, I was just
I.
like, bro, that was soft as hell. But I mean, whatever. It was supposed to be a close spot, and it was. Jeff Hardy is fighting somewhere in the arena. I think he's like near concession, so that's where he ended up. They go into commercial break, and back from the break, Mark Quinn hits a low blow. I forgot on who it was. Private Party. Oh, I think was it on Matt Hardy? Yeah, I think it was on Matt Hardy because I have next. Private Party hits a double side effect on
Yeah.
Matt Hardy off the stage through a couple tables.
Yeah, Private Party and Matt Hardy were like by ringside or the stage
No,
area
they
the
were
entire
on the
time.
stage area.
The rest of them just kind of bailed on Matt. They kind of just all agreed that Matt could handle two guys on his own, while the three of them just took on the Butcher and the Blade.
Well, Butcher needs two people for himself. So,
Uh,
like, I think it's fair.
Kinda. I don't know.
I think it's a fair allocation of resources that they did.
Rip Matt then.
Matt just failed at his one shot to shine. No. Uh, so we go back to where Jeff Hardy is, and then he has a ladder, and I'm just like, oh, they're gonna do that thing where Jeff Hardy jumps off a really tall ladder onto two tables, and then he does, but like it's a little different. He climbs the ladder, and then there's like this ledge like right like slightly above where the ladder was, and then so Jeff climbs this really tall ladder and then reaches out and then starts climbing on the ledge. So now he's on top of a ledge which is like maybe about like a, I don't know, like a foot higher than the
Ladder.
ladder. But I mean he got like an extra foot off of it, but like he definitely was in a more stable like position because like that ladder would be pretty unstable to jump off of.
Yeah.
So he's got like more stable footing. That was the word I was looking for, footing. And then he just jumps off this ledge and does a swanton bomb and then hits the Butcher and Blade who were below him. Except he didn't hit them on the chest, he hit them on the legs. So that probably hurt him quite a bit. And I just wrote, well, that's probably going to be my spot of the match, and I don't think anything else will top it. And Private Party, after they threw Matt off the stage, they bring him back, and Matt Hardy kicks out at two, and then Sting just walking casually back to the ring as he sees Matt Hardy getting beat up. Sting makes somewhat of a save. Isaiah comes back and then hits Sting with a chair, and then Sting no sells it. And then he starts to go wild on Private Party, but they cut him off, and then they go for the gin and juice combo, but Sting counters by I think he had Mark Quinn in like a dragon sleeper, and then Matt Hardy gets up and then hits I think Cassidy with a twist of fate, and at the same time Hardy is hitting a twist of fate, Sting is hitting the Scorpion Death Drop, and then they got the win. I put 928. All this stuff and it happened in less than 10 minutes.
That was crazy. It felt a lot longer than that.
It was a literal spot fest.
Yeah, and by the way, for that ending, I think we need to note that I had no clue if what like Sting was doing to begin with, like right after the gin and juice, when it looked like he just kind of fell over on Mark Quinn. And I was like, is that him going for a sleeper, or is he just trying to like hold him for the death drop, or what's going on?
Well, I thought he was just trying to hold him, but then he like lost his footing and he just fell.
Yeah, he just kind
So
of
like
fell with Mark Quinn underneath him, and
yeah, and then like I don't know if Marquand was like fighting him very very hard, and that's why he was like shit, I got to control this guy before we hit the spot. But it was a little strange. I mean,
I was just surprised they chose Sting to do the be on the receiving end of the gin and juice combo, but all right,
yeah. They wanted Sting to get the death drop in.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can say this was like a good match. It wasn't really a match. It was literally just spot. And then I was entertained, so I guess it was fine.
Yeah, I had entertaining moments, but like kind of in betweens between all of them were kind of lacking. So it was there and had a few moments of entertainment, which is really all I guess I'll say about it.
Yeah, it was definitely entertaining. Let's see here. What did I next? I have the FTR promo. It's just basically you're gonna fight Gun Club. I don't know. I thought it was kind of dumb.
Yeah,
I want to move
same.
on. Varsity Blondes versus John Moxley and Bryan Danielson. I don't really care about what's happening with Julia Hart, but other people do seem to care.
That was like
Um,
half the camera shots was on Julia Hart sitting
yeah,
like
just
on the
sitting down,
edge.
not even looking at the match. I'm just like, is there like a point?
She turned edgy or something. I don't know what was going on. Is this like some
Yeah.
Twitter thing I missed out on, or
I mean, they're still talking about like her getting hit with the mist in the eye, and now she's turning evil or whatever.
that felt like forever ago?
It was forever ago. Like,
Huh?
but apparently she's gonna be turning evil because we saw what happened to Penta, and like, I don't know. Like, to be
Eh,
honest, it's not my cup of tea, but people like it, so whatever.
wait. Penta turned evil, but what about Alex? Alex didn't get sprayed, did he? And now he's dressed up like a vampire.
Alex can do what he wants. I don't know.
He just thought Penta was cool, so he followed along.
He's like, Penta's gonna be bad. I'm gonna be bad too, in like a worse way. Uh,
Yeah.
mm,
All
whatever.
right then.
All right, so back to the match. Basically, Danielson and Moxley beat the shit out of him. That was it. Um,
Basically.
then they had shots of Julia Hart where she just looks depressed. And then Regal on commentary says that Wheeler Yuta showed spirit and that's what he likes. And then Regal was complimenting the Varsity Blondes, but he wants to see more fire from them and whatnot. The Blondes do get some decent offense in, but like Moxley hits Garrison with like these hammer shots to the head. And Danielson kicks Pillman's head in, and then there's a sleeper hold by John Moxley, and Griff taps out. It was 6 minutes, 12 seconds, where about 6 minutes was Varsity Blondes getting beat up, and then 12 seconds was literally that offense that they did in the middle.
Yeah, I just remembered Varsity Blondes doing like the kind of heart attack looking, like the modified heart attack looking
Yeah.
spot, and then the rest was just them getting pounded in the corner, basically.
Right. So I think this was probably the more important part of it. It's the Mox promo. Says that he's lucky to compete against the best in the world, cares about what Lordship Regal thinks.
Hmm.
Okay. And then that he earns his badge of honor. And the message for people who think that they can ride with them is that there's no free passes. You got to reach deep down and find the place where you love pain. Um, if you want to be in it, you need to get it the hard way or something. Was like the final quote. I like the final quote that he said. I just did not copy it down like verbatim. And yeah, so it should be interesting to see who ends up joining. I think Yuta's going to be the first one to join.
Yeah,
And
that surprised me. I kind of thought maybe in the back of my head that they would maybe go after Brian Pillman Jr.,
I thought
but
that too.
maybe
But yeah,
later
I don't
or
think they're going to break
not.
up the Varsity Blondes yet.
Yeah, they'll probably keep them together for a while more.
I did write down the time. It was 2:42 was this promo, how long it took. I wanted to see because like I'm always just like, where are all these like time's going? Because like for 2 hours they're wrestling for like barely an hour. It's like, so what's like the other hour? And I was like timing the promos now. Like I timed a couple of them at least.
Okay.
The MJF promo, this one I timed, and just wrote some of the funny stuff that MJF said. Like Texas has as many brain cells as they do teeth.
Not many.
That was a little funny. Sorry to the Texans, but it was funny. It's a shame that Wardlow couldn't get the job done, is what MJF said. States that Punk cheated to win, and my thought was, how do you cheat in a dog collar match? Like, isn't that just no DQ already? Like,
Yeah.
what? Okay, whatever. Says they'll have a rematch sometime down the line, and then very loud Wardlow chants now. If it wasn't for MJF, people wouldn't know who Wardlow is. This might be true. MJF says that he signed a deal with a devil, and I guess there was like Jesus chants or something in the crowd. And then because MJF said, I'm gonna strap Wardlow to a cross just like Jesus. And then that got the crowd to go like that. I was just like, I didn't know what the crowd was saying. It's just to like warrant this because like he thought about it for like at least 2, 3 seconds before he said that line to like just respond to the crowd. MJF says that he owns Wardlow. Wardlow comes out now. Security is holding him back. Um, he's going to keep paying Wardlow. So this is what MJF says that he's going to keep paying Wardlow, but he's going to pay him to stay at home, which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
And I wrote down this was 7 minutes, 21 seconds. But this was when, like, I timed this from the moment MJF started talking in the ring. Like, his entrance and all the other stuff, like, that was probably an extra, like, 2, 3 minutes. This was, like, about a 10-minute segment.
Yeah, I'd say time well used. I think MJF finally got his time to speak. It was his first time speaking about it since the dog collar match, I believe. And yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they still make Wardlow look good with like what he had like six security guards like holding him back.
Yeah. And, I mean, Wardlow, not even six. Wardlow had, like, probably 20. He had, like, a
Yeah,
whole crew on him. And then he just, like, casually was, like, walking away while, like, very infuriated. All right, so next we got. Oh, wait, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say I kind of wonder because if Wardlow's getting paid to stay at home, is it gonna be like, oh, what's Wardlow doing in the arena type stuff where he just kind of like breaks in just to like mess with MJF more, or
Probably. I mean, I don't think you can take Wardlow off TV.
yeah,
Like
especially
you have
when
to keep him on TV to like be strong. So like maybe they'll just like keep showing him like in crowds or whatever.
probably yeah, they can't just like get rid of him when the feud is kind of just like reaching the peak.
Yeah. All right. So we got backstage segment with the best friends. Trent says he never liked Yuta, and then Yuta says the same thing. It was vice versa. But Yuta claims that he wants to be the best wrestler he can be, not the best friend. I thought that was a very fun line. So that's why I wrote that one down. So yeah, I think Yuta's going to be joining that group soon.
Yeah, if he walks out
Um,
on these guys, the next step would be join. I seen online people were calling it like the Blackpool Combat Club or something like that. The new
yes,
stable.
that is what Moxley said in his promo.
Okay.
The Blackpool Combat Club. Nyla Rose made a joke with like the acronym that would have like I forgot what the acronym was that she said, but on Twitter, like the acronym would have ended up being BBC again.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not the only one, all right?
Yep.
So we got Adam Cole versus Jay Lethal. They traded some shots early. They got loud dueling chants. Lethal did hit his nice lethal combination when Cole was leading up. Lethal tries drop kick but misses, like he does a springboard drop kick, misses. Two dives by Cole, two dives onto Cole by Lethal, but then on the third one, he moves out of the way, and then it seemed like to, I think Jim Ross said Lethal probably jumped over the cameraman or something because like basically like the camera's panned on Adam Cole and then literally out of nowhere over the top Lethal just hits
He
Adam Cole.
out of nowhere.
It was literally out of nowhere on this third dive, just like he came flying above. It wasn't like it was like from the side, like Lethal literally came from above like the camera shot and then onto Cole. So like it did actually make me believe he jumped over the cameraman to hit the
Yeah.
dive onto Cole. Cole ends up taking control during the break. Lethal rallies and tries multiple pinning attempts. Lethal finally gets like a figure four locked in. There's a rope break. Red Dragon distract Jay Lethal and Cole hits a super kick. Cole goes for the boom, but it gets countered into a cutter. Lethal goes for lethal injection, but Cole super kicks the back of his head, hits Panama Sunrise, and Lethal kicks out at two. Lethal rolls up Cole, but Red Dragon distracts the ref, and the roll up was a three with like the crowd chanting for it. So it was long enough for Cole not to get pinned. Lethal goes for lethal injection, and then Adam Cole hits a low blow and then hits the boom for the win. This was 10:03. And I just want to point this out because I need to get my Tony Schiavone rants in every episode. That Tony Schiavone was very angry that Red Dragon was distracting the ref. And I'm just saying that when Britt Baker has Jamie Hayter and Rebel distract the ref, Tony Schiavone doesn't say anything. I'm just putting that out there. Hypocrite.
Well, I guess Tony's a bit more likely to go after Adam Cole after Adam Cole called him a nerd so many times, so many moons ago.
Yes, that is true. But like he does it for everyone. I'm always gonna get these rants in. Like it's actually like so two-faced that you can complain about interference from matches, but then when your close friend also has interferences in her matches, you're just like, nope, I don't see a problem with it. Like, no, like you have to say there's a problem. You have to be consistent. Ah,
Yeah,
this
but
was what? Oh,
besides that rant, I would say that this was my match of the night. Two guys with a lot of history to working together, obviously being able to put on a match as good as this. And I don't think the interference was too overbearing with Red Dragon, so I thought that was also nice. It made both guys look really good. And yeah, it's just crazy we don't get to see Jay Lethal more often on TV. He's been kind of stuck in dark and dark elevation. So hopefully this is a sign for better things to come with him because even at his age and having like done this for so long, he still looks incredibly like athletic and agile, and was able to put on a good show with Adam Cole. Like especially like so many of the spots where they were countering like the lethal injections and all the other moves just look like super good, especially towards the end.
Yeah, I feel like Lethal Injection needs to step it up more. He needs to come up with a better move because it just gets countered on the daily. It gets countered by Ricky Starks into that Rochambeau. It gets countered twice by Adam Cole with a super kick and then a low blow. Like maybe it's the Lethal Injection. I don't know.
Maybe that's holding him back. Maybe he'll become the Macho Man again or something like that.
Yeah. So after match, Adam Cole's just a sore loser. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Cole basically is like trying to bait Adam Page to come out, and Adam Page does take the bait. Page took off his belt. Like they're watching Page. It's Adam Cole and Red Dragon are watching Page take off his belt, and then he puts he like puts it in like in that whipping type of motion, and he just straight up whipped all three of them.
Yeah.
Like right, like they fucking watched it happen for like a solid 30 seconds as he's
Never seen
taking
it
off his
coming.
belt. And he's just like, and they're just like, what's he gonna do with this belt? Like, what do you think he's gonna do with it? He's gonna hit you with it. And he just hit Adam Cole in the face. And then he hit the other two people, and they're just like, oh shit. Like he actually hit. It's like that was like
They never seen it coming.
it was like I'm literally watching this. I'm just like, oh wow, Paige is gonna hit him with a belt. And I was like, they're not moving. Like, why aren't they moving? And I was like, what do you think is gonna happen? He's gonna hit you, and he actually hit him. Like they
Yeah.
just watched it
You
for 30
just
seconds to hit him.
he just slides in, takes off his belt. The three of them are just kind of on the other side staring, and then they do like the one v one like Page and Belt versus each one of them, and it's like, huh, what a surprise.
Oh man, and yeah, Cole hits a low blow onto Page, and then they just start beating him down, and then he's was Jurassic Express somewhat make the save, but they had already beaten him down a bit, and they just Adam Cole just steals the fucking belt from him. Like okay,
Not the belt he got
like
whipped
all
with,
right,
but
Adam Cole's never gonna win that championship within the next year if if they show him with the belt now.
just to cement the fact that this is the closest we'll ever see Cole as champion in the near future.
Yeah. All right, so man, there were like three promo segments. Next up, Lance Archer, Dustin Rhodes promo. Wrote here, Rhodes is probably losing here in his hometown. That was what I thought. I was wrong apparently, but whatever. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Then back from break, and Sammy is out to cut a promo. Says that he's gonna still keep doing crazy shit because he loves the people. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't like these types of promos. I think they're kind of boring. And
Yeah.
then
I
Ty
just
Conti start. Yeah, you
just
can
to
go.
say like yeah, when you say yeah I do it because I love the fans, I love the fame, it was like, well, that was kind of implied when you signed with the company and made this your full-time job, but
Well, I mean,
Jericho
everyone loves
out.
the fans. Like, they'll do that to entertain other people. Like, that's literally, I think that's what wrestling is for. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Like, I can't speak for like other pro wrestlers. Like, I'm assuming that they love it because they love pro wrestling and they love doing it to entertain the fans and like be a part of something. Like, I'm pretty sure they're not doing it to like try to make like a lot of money.
That's
Like,
what I would assume, but yeah.
yeah. So then Ty Conti starts talking, and then she basically wants to fight Paige Van Zandt, an American Top Team. So they're trying to like get him to call out. Dan Lambert comes out, and I didn't really care for what Dan Lambert had to say, but the one thing that I wrote down because it was hilarious was he's like, if you bums pay $9.99 and subscribe to Paige Van Zandt's fan page, you'll understand why Orange Cassidy keeps his hands in his pockets. I just
That was
started dying laughing at that one. That
amazing
was
line.
so, that was
If it
funny.
was not overdone by a line later in the segment.
This just reminded, like I wrote here, this reminds me of like just like TMZ type of shit.
Yep.
Like I'm not watching this to get like TMZ vibes. I'm watching this for some pro wrestling and like some cool stuff. Not like to hear Sammy cut like a generic promo saying that he's gonna do stuff for the fans because he loves the fans, and then Ty Conte saying that she wants to beat up Paige Van Zandt, bitch, whatever. Like, it's not what I'm there for.
Yeah.
I didn't even write down the time for this one because I wasn't expecting it. But I'm pretty sure it went like way longer than it should have. Like I'm assuming it was probably like 6 minutes or something. That was 6 minutes too long for me.
you're you're missing the favorite part of this entire segment. The part that made me kind of cringe a bit.
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't write that down. That's why it reminded me of TMZ. Like what was it? Like Dan Lambert kisses the title, and then Sam was just like, "Oh, I'm rent free in your head." And if you know what I did with that, what me and Ty did with that belt, then I'm also in your mouth too. And then it basically implied that they like fucked on the belt. It was
I
weird.
I was kind of just lost for words at that moment.
Yeah, and then they posted on Twitter like both of them naked with like the belt covering up Ty Conti's lower half, and then like her arm covering up her chest with like Sammy behind her, just like kind of spooning her. And that was like the implication of like what the dirty thing they did with the belt that they took a photo of for some reason. Like what? I don't like, bros, whatever. TMZ, man. This is so TMZ.
Yeah, this was like Attitude Era, late '90s. Exactly what you would find there.
Do people like this? Like, I actually want to know, do people like this? Because
I
I don't.
I think of. I mean, I found it funny in like an ironic sense, but if people like unironically like this, I don't know.
I don't like this. So, like, I'm kind of curious to see if people like legitimately like this or not. Like, if they, because if people do like it, then all right. I mean, don't take it off. Then like, just keep doing it. But if people like actually don't like it, then stop doing it.
Like, there's edgy for the sake of being edgy, which I think this kind of well, this was. But I mean, it's not a bad thing to have like more mature themes in like your show and the promo segments. But just
Yeah, I
saying
mean, I
like
don't I don't mind that, but
this seemed
I
to be
mean,
like
it's like,
straight ripped out of the Attitude Era, like late '90s wrestling when they were like legit copying like Jerry Springer type segments, and this seemed like exactly like one of them, just saying like, "Oh hey, we had sex on the belt," and just having like Dan like kiss it and make that like TV sitcom like scared. Like he just had like one of those like sour warhead candies. Like once he heard that, like ew, and just like yeah, this got like way too TMZ cartoony type for me.
yeah.
Just like trying to be edgy.
All right, so Swerve versus Starks for FTW belt on Rampage. Then we got Layla Hirsch versus Red Velvet. Question I ask: why is Statlander barred from ringside? Like, did they
Because
explain?
uh, we already seen what happens when she gets too close to ringside.
Yeah, she stopped someone from cheating.
Yeah, we can't have that anymore.
Yeah, okay. All right. So as Red Velvet was doing her entrance, like, so she was up like on the apron, right? And she does like that kick up and then like kind of do like those like sexy poses or whatever. Like in my head, I'm just thinking Layla Hirsch is probably gonna like hit her from behind, right? Like that's what I would do. And then that's what happened.
Yeah.
So I was like pretty happy. I was just like, cool. Like I was just like the logical thing happened. Like nice. Thank you for that. So they brought on the outside for a bit before they started the match. And when the match starts, Red Velvet does get some offense in, goes for a moonsault press, and Hirsch kind of catches her and hits a suplex. Hirsch has control throughout the break. Velvet rallies, hits a series of moves, and hits double knees while Hirsch is on the ropes. Um, Red Velvet tried to do something. Like I think she tried to jump on the rope, but she messed up because like she didn't like her foot slipped off one of the ropes or something, and then Hirsch was supposed to like catch like not catch her, but like pick her up from the ropes and then hit a German suplex right after. But they botched it a little bit.
Yeah.
Botch of the night, right there. Boom. All right. So Velvet flips off the top rope. She hits her Trouble in Paradise, and Laila Hirsch rolls towards the ropes. I forgot what they called the actual move. I think like the mixer or
Corkscrew,
whatever.
corkscrew
It,
kick,
yeah, it
or
was like a corkscrew kick, but they like she actually had a name for it this time.
oh,
It's
okay.
Trouble in Paradise until one of us figures out the actual name. So Red Velvet hits Trouble in Paradise, and then Hirsch rolls towards the ropes, grabs the turnbuckle from the bottom, just like that gets taken away, and then she pulls out like a miniature one from her trunks or whatever, and then hits Velvet with it, and she gets the win. It was 629. I didn't care. Did
I
you
didn't
care?
care. I mean, I was happy it was a bit more fast paced and more hard hitting than their fight on Rampage, but I'm not really interested because it doesn't seem like the build for this feud really has any implications for anything like outside of this. Like I don't see either of them really going after like any of the titles soon.
Yeah,
So
nice.
yeah,
We got 50-50 booking here. Like we got Red Velvet win one of the matches, and now Layla Hirsch wins the other. Like great.
I feel like the tiebreaker and then this feud just disappears. But yeah, I can't really say I care about what's going on in the long run for this.
At least Tony Khan got what he wanted. Chris Statlander barred from ringside to stop Hirsch from cheating. Can't have that. We need to have Hirsch cheating because that's the only way she can win.
This is the only
Boom,
thing
book
to
that. Okay.
change the outcome.
All right, so here's like more what I found more entertaining than the match itself. The Jade Cargill segment in the back where she's talking about what she should do for her 30 and 0 celebration. I was laughing. It was so outrageous. It's like we need to have this and this. Mark Stern, you're writing all this down, right? Like we need to have a bigger celebration than who's that girl that I beat for that championship? Thunder Rosa. Yeah, we need to have one better than that. And it's like, oh my God, it's like I laughed. I don't. I found it funny. I don't know what else to say. I found it funny.
It was more entertaining than the match, but yeah.
That's why I wrote that on here. It's like this was more amusing than the match. Like I was more entertained by this than the match. Oh my God. All right, so next, Thunder Rosa is going to talk after winning the AEW Women's World Championship, and then Vicky Guerrero comes out to disrupt Thunder Rosa and literally tells Thunder Rosa to go back to Mexico.
I
Like,
was like, wait a minute.
I was like, Vicky, you should not be the one saying that.
Yeah, I was
Or
like,
maybe
wait.
it is like because it's Vicky is the one that's saying that. It's like more reasonable.
I,
First off, you shouldn't like no one should be saying that.
yeah, and I mean, if they had
But
like Britt Baker saying that, I would have been like, okay, this got
that
a
would be
little
like if it
uncomfortable.
was Britt Baker saying that, that would be way more racist and people would be more outraged. That's why it's like that's why I'm saying it's better that Vicky Guerrero says it because they're just like, oh, they're both Mexican, so like it should be fine. Like that's what
Yeah.
people's thought process is. It's like one, no, it's not fine. Like they shouldn't have been said anyway, but because they're both of the same race, that's why people are more willing to accept it.
Yeah,
But like
the
that was dumb and it didn't provide anything. And then as Thunder Rosa is trying to be like, I got my like citizenship here in the state of Texas or whatever, and she was like gonna try to get like a big pop. Nyla Rose just comes from behind and just like blasts her. Like, what the Go for it. You take it forward.
I was just gonna say, yeah, hearing Vicky say that was the last thing I'd expect on AEW television. Like, I understand it's a good way to draw heat, but when you, I remember like AEW had like all these posters and like just the same like wrestling for everybody. Like, this is like a huge part of their program is to be like really inclusive, which is really important. But just for after all of that and just to have Vicky say go back to Mexico, I was like, what the hell is going on? Vicky, was that in the script? Oh wait, they don't have scripts, but still, I was like, Did you get that pre-approved to say? Because
That was man, I this was bad.
the right after Thunder Rosa won her title, this is what she has to deal with.
Yeah, getting told to like go back to where she was born. Like, okay.
Okay, but
I was from Vicky Guerrero, like whose husband, late husband, was like the most like loved Mexican
yeah,
wrestler. And she's telling this girl to go back to Mexico. Like, come on.
but all right. Hopefully, we won't have to hear that again.
Okay. Main event time. Chris Jericho and Daniel Garcia. I don't think they have a name for that team yet. Versus Dark Order's John Silver and Alex Reynolds. So John Silver went pretty crazy early on. Silver and Reynolds do some tag work where Reynolds hits a dive onto Jericho while Silver is holding him, and then Silver just kind of drops him with a brain buster on the floor. Jericho throws himself onto the steel steps, and then they blame 5 and 10 for that. And then Aubrey just throws them out, and I can hear Aubrey say, "I heard it. You guys are out of here." And I was just like, "Oh man, let me. Should I start now or wait or like finish the match?
Let's
What
just
about?"
finish the match and go into that.
All right, so commercial break, and then um, I put JAS. I forgot what that. Jericho Appreciation Society takes
Yep.
control, and they get the heat on Reynolds. Jericho misses a lion salt, and then Reynolds makes the hot tag. Silver goes crazy. I wrote down on commentary, "It's a childhood dream." Someone said this is a childhood dream for John Silver. I'm just like, really? Okay. If that's what they're gonna go with, okay.
He had strange dreams as a child.
Yeah. Yeah, he dreams of facing Chris Jericho and Daniel Garcia in a tag match where he gets to go crazy on 2.0 and Jake Hager on the outside. That's his childhood dream right there, John Silver. Woo! Way to live the dream. Silver wipes out everyone and hits a crossbody on Jericho for a two. Silver goes for more sequence of moves, but Jericho counters with a code breaker. Dark Order do their finishing combination. I don't know if like they have a name for that, but it's like that like big sequence of moves that ends with like the pinning attempt.
Yeah, like
Um,
Alex does the roll up type thing.
yeah. So they do that combination, but Garcia kicks out at two. Garcia grabs the ref, and then Jericho hits Reynolds with Floyd, which is the bat. And then Garcia locks in the sharpshooter, goes back on it. Reynolds taps out. 10:01 was the time for the match. I think it was, I mean, there are better matches on the card.
Yeah.
Um, but it's nice, for me, it's nice to see John Silver and Alex Reynolds get main event spot.
Yeah, I was really surprised though that this was going on like not in the middle of the card and was the main event.
So my gripe right here is like Aubrey looks like she is like the most incompetent referee that AEW has for throwing out 5 and 10 there. Just because like they hear the steel steps and she's like and then the heels blame 5 and 10 and Aubrey's just like, I heard it, you're out. And they're like, it's like dude, like how many times has like Chris Jericho interacted with like Aubrey where like we've seen like Chris Jericho complain to her like a lot, right?
Yeah.
And where like we've seen Jericho be known for like underhanded tactics and whatnot. And like these are literal heels that are like doing this. And like I'm pretty sure Aubrey knows that 2.0 is known for their interferences a lot,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's just like it like to me this sequence literally just made it seem like Aubrey is just really incompetent. Like Jake Hager hit Silver on the outside with his mover at her. That made a loud noise. Like Aubrey didn't hear that. Like like just like her like it's more with the gripe that I heard Aubrey say. I heard the noise, so I'm going to say, and that's the proof that I need to kick both of you guys out for interfering in the match. Like, and it's so now that they have set this precedent now that if you that hear they hear this, like if they hear anything, you can throw them out. So that means now in my eyes, if there's going to be interference by heels and it's loud enough that I can hear it like from TV, then that means it's probably loud enough for them to hear it in the ring. And that's going to make me think, okay, well, the ref didn't throw this person out, so I guess they're deaf.
Yeah,
So this is the precedent that it's going to set now for me.
this was
And
a
like
strange spot.
for other people, they probably won't see it like this, but this is actually like for me because I really like logic behind stuff. The fact that this like and it's going to be it's specifically going to be more critical of Aubrey now in my eyes because if I hear like a noise or something like because how many times do we see like the heels get involved on the outside? How many times do we see like one random person just get thrown into like the railing or something? That makes a very loud noise. Like you can
Yeah,
hear it. Like and if Aubrey's the ref and like something like that happens, I'm just like, well then Aubrey is deaf if she doesn't kick out those people because then that would like because she just set the precedent that she can hear like stuff that happens on the outside while she's distracted and make judgments on that. So this is I do not like.
yeah, it was a very dumb spot for them to include, and we're probably never gonna see anything like it in the future.
I mean, it just for me it's just such a bad precedent.
Yeah,
Other than that, we'll do positives. I very much enjoyed this episode of Dynamite. It was very good.
yeah, the main event. Well, I was surprised it was the main event. It was a solid match, nonetheless. So happy it got in. It was kind of funny just to see like one John Silver defeat the entire Jericho Appreciation Society. So there's that. But overall, happy to see those guys get their time on TV and put on a good match. And overall, I wanted to say like, yeah, this was a pretty good episode of Dynamite.
It was very good. Yeah, my favorite was the Adam Cole versus Jay Lethal match. That was a pretty decent match.
Yeah, I say that was my
CM Punk versus Dax Harwood was really good too. Like the spot fest for the 8-man tag was really good. I mean, you had like the other stuff were all average, but like those three really made it for me. So that's what made this like a very good episode of Dynamite.
yeah. This one really stood out just from like how well the card was. Like you didn't really feel like as much filler as we like seen in the past.
Yeah. All right, cool. So that was for Dynamite. This was Miggy and Smokey Moto. Tune in next time.
See you guys next time.